Marks and Spencer, the barometer of the high street, is to shed around 1,000 jobs. The company will announce details tomorrow, but it's thought poor Christmas sales are partly to blame. Well, our business editor Robert Peston is here, and most of these jobs we believe will go from the stores themselves.
Yeah, it's a mixture of stores and some cuts in head office. It's important to put this into context. M&S is Britain's biggest fashion retailer. It employs more than 70,000. So although 1,000 job losses sounds like a big number, and of course it's going to be very painful for those affected, it is less than 2% of this company's workforce, and it would be extraordinarily surprising, given the kind of downturn we've seen on the high street, if M&S didn't attempt to get its costs down a bit.
But what is behind it? I mean, is it poor Christmas sales?
Well, it's not just poor Christmas sales. Frankly, it is just, I'm afraid, a consumer boom that has come to a pretty sharp end. Today we saw figures from Next and Debenhams, sales down pretty sharply from their existing stores. We expect exactly the same trend at M&S, pretty sharp falls in sales of fashion goods and homewares in particular from their existing stores. It's the biggest retailer, it can't buck the trends. The big question I think I shall be looking for tomorrow particularly closely is what's happening to its share of the market. 10 years ago, M&S was heavily criticised because it was losing share of the market. The interesting question is, in this difficult time, is it holding its own in difficult conditions? And that's how we're going to judge its performance and the performance of its very well-known chief executive, Sir Stuart Rose.
Robert, thank you very much. Well, mixed fortunes continue for some of the other big names on the high street. After 99 years in business, the last Woolworths stores will finally close their doors for good today, leaving thousands of people without jobs. But there has been better than expected news for two other big retail names, Next and Debenhams. Our correspondent Richard Scott reports.
Two of our biggest high street names are battling the economic slowdown. Next and Debenhams have both been fighting to get customers through their doors. But despite their efforts, sales have still fallen. It's not all doom and gloom though. Debenhams sales might be down by 3.5% in fact over the 4 months to the beginning of January, and Next sales are down by twice that, 7% over the 6 months to Christmas. But although these sales figures are down, they're not as bad as they could have been. That's actually cheered up investors. That meant shares in both companies rose when trading opened this morning.
Next was pretty much the only major retailer not to discount before Christmas. The Debenhams figures, although the like-for-likes are down, are actually quite good. It's an improvement on their performance last year, and they seem to be getting their ranges right. And I think compared to the M&S figures, which are coming out tomorrow, they'll probably look quite good.
Next and Debenhams are likely to survive the economic slowdown, but that's not something that can be said of all of their rivals. The last Woolworths stores closed their doors for the final time today, whilst a new report suggests 15% of shops will be empty by the end of the year. That's twice what it is now, and would be the highest level of vacancies ever recorded in the UK.
The British High Street's going to be a very different place going forwards. We're going to see a lot more vacancies, we're going to see smaller towns devoid of Woolworths and key retailers that really drive the sort of vibrancy of those communities, so we're going to see the loss of many retailers, unfortunately.
And shop closures, of course, mean more job cuts. On top of that, there are retailers like M&S, which is staying open, but still cutting 1,000 jobs, which it will officially announce tomorrow. Our spending boom has supported the retail sector, but those days are gone. Richard Scott, BBC News.
So a glimmer of hope for some big high street names, but it is too late for Woolworths, as you just heard, and it closes for good today. Lorna Gordon is outside one of the last stores in Glasgow. Very sad. It made almost a century on the high street.
Yeah, it's a very ignominious and, as you say, sad ending to this high street institution. This shop used to have 2 stories of goods, everything from hardware to entertainment to toys. Now it's down to little more than 2 aisles. Everything is for sale, 80% off the original price. We've even seen